So this is a response to Notruescottsman's video, which was a response to Veritas 48's video which was of the Kalam cosmological argument. Now, in Notruescottsman's video, he critiques the argument from the impossibility of traversing an actual infinite.
But for the moment, let's say that the space between your hands represents an infinite amount of time. Now, the way that Veritas and Venom Fang discuss it, you get the idea that we would need to start at point A and pass through an infinite amount of time before we could get to point B. But that's not the idea. This is the point that needs repeating. An infinite amount of time is not something you need to traverse. If you exist within an infinite amount of time, then you have an infinite amount of time behind you and an infinite amount of time ahead of you. In fact, you could place yourself anywhere on this timeline and still have infinite amounts of time behind you and ahead of you. So the idea is not traversing an infinite amount of time to get from point A to point B, but points A and B existing inside the infinite amount of time.
Well, no, actually this is based off a misunderstanding. It's not about 2 points existing in an infinite amount of time. It's how did the entire infinite amount of time become formed in order for us to have reached today? Because the argument is that you can't have reached today if the past were infinite, because before you could get to today, you'd have to go through yesterday. Before yesterday could occur, the day before that would have to occur, and so on and so forth and so forth, and you get driven back into the infinite past, so nothing would ever happen. So this whole objection is really just based off a complete misunderstanding of the argument. Now he then offers a second objection to this argument, which goes like this.
Let's say you're at point A and you need to reach point B 2 blocks away. Well, before you could cross 2 blocks, you'd have to cross 1 block. Before you could cross 1 block, you'd have to cross half a block. Before you'd cross half a block, you need to cross a quarter block. Before you cross a quarter block, you need to cross 1/16 of a block. You can keep breaking time down into infinitesimal increments, and according to this model, you'd never get to where you're going. But in actuality, if you need to get from point A to point B 2 blocks away, and you're ambulatory, you just walk the 2 blocks. Well, it's the same with Veritas's concept of point A and point B. He keeps breaking down the distance between the 2 points until it's theoretically impossible to get from one to the other.
Okay, so what he's arguing here is Zeno's paradox, and he's basically trying to say, well, isn't this analogous to crossing the infinite past? Well, actually, no, it is not analogous at all. And as William Lane Craig points out in the Blackwell Companion to Natural Theology, and I'll read the quote out loud here. Let's see. It says, quote, is the argument against the impossibility of traversing an infinite past, as some critics allege, no more plausible than Zeno's paradoxes? This cannot be said because the allegation fails to reckon with 2 crucial disanalogies of the case of an infinite past to Zeno's paradoxes. Whereas in Zeno's thought experimentism, the intervals traveled are potential and unequal, in the case of an infinite past, the intervals are actual and equal, end quote. Now, in other words, what he's saying is, in Zeno's when we say traversing the infinite to cross today, we're not talking about 2 points finitely apart from each other with an infinite amount of points because you keep breaking it down. No, we're talking about well, like you said, an actual like each day that we would cross would be just as long as the other one, and it would form an infinitely long chain. My hand's going off the screen. Infinitely long chain of events that we must cross in order to get to today. So in conclusion, it's not about having 2 points infinitely distant from one another. No, it's about the argument is that how can today be actualized if there are an infinite amount of days before today? How could we have gotten to today if there are an infinite number of days? Because It never could have happened because the thing could have never even gotten started. In other words, my favorite analogy to this whole argument is getting from an infinity to zero. In other words, getting from an infinite past to today is like trying to jump out of a bottomless pit. So hope you all enjoyed the video. Take care. Good day.